Hello, my friends. I'm all by myself. Tim's out plowing snow, so I wanted to do this for dinner. Yesterday, I wanted to do it for dinner, and then the day got away, and I promised him I would do this today. So I want to surprise him when he gets home from plowing with this. He wanted chicken and biscuits. I haven't made the homemade biscuits yet, which I will, but I'm good. It's funny because when I usually do chicken and biscuits, I almost always do exactly the same thing. I use a chicken that I've roasted, and whenever I roast a chicken, I always make gravy. And I use my gravy, whatever's left over of my gravy, and I make a roux, which is the flour and butter, equal parts of flour and butter, and the milk. That's your roux. And then I would put those together. It's a white roux, and I would use my gravy, and that's what I would use for the base of my chicken and biscuits. This time I did not make my own chicken. I actually got it from Costco that day that I went last week. The one time I've been in Costco, can't even remember how many years. And so I had no gravy to start with. The other thing you can do, and I mean, yes, you can do this. I got one of these just to talk to you about it. I've used this before, and it's good. Sometimes I've used my gravy and there didn't need a whole bunch of roux because I still had enough gravy left over that I just pumped it up with this on the side, and the combination of the two is a great flavor. This is the best. I would never buy any other kind if I was going to buy a gravy and use it straight up. I never use it on its own though. I always doctor it with my stuff. So, but it's fantastic. It can be that you can do this with your chicken, but I wanted to make a homemade, so I went searching like I always do for a cool recipe. It's called Best Chicken and Biscuits. In this pot over here, right here, I already have boiling 4 cups of chicken broth. I don't have my chicken in there yet because my chicken was already cooked, so I did not cut up the chicken and put it in there yet. There's 5 medium carrots. Oops, there's my timer. There's 5 medium carrots, 2 celery ribs. It's all set now, as you can see. 5 medium carrots, 2 celery ribs, 1/2 cup of chopped onion. There's supposed to be a 1/2 cup frozen corn, but I've added more than that. And I got 3 teaspoons of dried basil and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And that's what's in there. And that's been boiling 7 to 10 minutes until the vegetables are done, which they are now. The next thing I'm actually going to do is, because I didn't need my chicken cooked anymore because of the fact that it was already roasted, I am going to put my chicken in there now. I think if I can get to where I can see where I'm going here with you. We're going to go over and just slip see, I diced up all this chicken. See, I just cut it up and diced it. So I'm going to slip it in there now. And I'm just going to wait a minute here to let that warm up a smidge. Because normally I would have put that in with the vegetables and stuff, and I would have boiled it together for the 7 to 10 minutes. So if you're doing chicken that isn't pre-cooked, dice it up like you just saw me have here. Dice it up randomly, about 1.5 pounds. Dice it up randomly and stick it in here with them, and it'll cook down. It'll boil down with everything else. I'm looking at it now here. I'm stirring it up and looking at it and seeing is that kind of a good ratio. I kind of would like more chicken than that, so I didn't know how much 1.5 pounds would be. I was just doing it by look, so I'm going to throw a little bit more chicken together here so you can watch me dice it up if you want. I'm going to dice up a little bit more chicken here and basically just pull it off, dice it in my hand, and throw it over there because I really want more than that. I like having a lot of chicken in my chicken and biscuits. When I'm making chicken and biscuits, without having to make it like this way. This is the first time for this recipe, by the way. You know how I love to cook first time recipes with you. I already have leftover vegetables and stuff too, so I can always throw it in here. This one, of course, doing from scratch and because I got that chicken from Costco already cooked, I did not have the luxury of the vegetables either. So this is how you're supposed to be able to make it homemade, total homemade from scratch. So here we go. That's your 4 cups. Like I had said before, it's 4 cups of, I'm just going to turn it down a little bit because I don't want to boil anything anymore. Everything's really all boiled. I'm just trying to get that chicken that I just added in here, all the chicken, I want it up to temperature. So that's all I'm really doing. So that's good there. And I think I've got a pretty good ratio. They said to use 1.5 pounds, and like I said, I didn't, because I didn't this is chicken that I already cooked. I didn't really know what 1.5 pounds was, so I'm just trying to visually see how much I'd like to have in there while I'm eating it. That's really all I'm doing. And you can see it's just a total random cut. I've got a piece in my hand like this, and I'm just totally, see, randomly cutting it like this, chunking it. So it'll be a nice chunk or tear. Some of it I've torn, you know, like when I tore it off the side, I've torn it. And that's it. Okay, good. I feel like that's a good, I feel like, see how much more I have in there now. I like to have a good amount. I don't want it to be sparse. See? Oops. I hope you can see. Yep, there you go. So, okay, now what the next step is, I'm going to move us over a little bit more. I'm going to get us together. In this bowl right here, I have the remaining, if you do the math, the whole recipe starts with 49.5 ounce container of chicken broth. I did 4 cups before. I did 4 cups in here before. Each cup is 8 ounces, so there was 2 cups per. That's 16 times 2 was 32. So I put 32 ounces. That's what I started to with, because here's where your math is. Remember, math is important. So I did 4 cups, and 4 cups, each one being 8. 8 times 4 is 32. I put 32 ounces of your broth in here. So now I need to do the remaining of the 49.5 ounces. By math, that's 17.5 ounces, and that's exactly what I've got in this bowl right here, already pre-measured. So 17.5 ounces right here. And I'm going to kind of put it right here so this camera does not fall over, because it keeps threatening to fall over as we're chatting. There we go. Okay, so 14.5 ounces of broth is in here, and it wants me to integrate 1 cup of flour. I'm using my whisk so I can get all of the lumps out of it. If you also want to get the lumps out of it and you really want to be good and pro, you could always use your sifter. You can measure out your cup ahead of time, throw it into your sifter, and stand here with the sifter over this, and you will find that you'll have extremely minimal lumps. As you can see now, I do have lumps that I'm breaking up with this. But like I say, if you really want to, you can do it with your sifter. Oh, but you don't have to, you just want to measure your cup out, put it in your sifter, and then do it like this, so you're not trying to, you know, you want that measured ahead. Okay, so as you can see, I'm trying to get all the lumps out right here. Taking a good last look at it. And then all I'm supposed to do is take this mixture that I've done, which is the flour and the remaining broth, and I'm going to take my broth, and I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to integrate it in with what I've got going on here. So here we go. I'm going to take my spoon out for a minute, take my time, a little bit at a time here. So you can see that they're smooth and there's no more lumps in it. Whew, that's almost to the top of that. You're supposed to do this in a Dutch oven, and I don't know if this is considered my, I think this is more my, well, anyways, this is about the size the Dutch oven would be anyways. So there you go. I'm going to get the last part of it out like this. I don't want to leave any behind. But there you go. And now all I'm going to do is just keep stirring it around a little bit here. Now that I've got it integrated with my whisk, I can take my whisk back out. There's no lumps, no anything, and I'm actually going to continue with my spoon. Here we go. What I want to do is bring this back to a boil. And then once it gets to its boil, I'm going to cook it for 2 minutes or until it's thick. And then that's it. It's completely done. Doesn't this look fantastic? I'm so excited about it. There's one last step that you can do if you like. You can add what they call a browning sauce. For me, I think of a browning sauce as this. My mother used to use this all the time, Gravy Master. They say that you can use 3/4 of a teaspoon of browning sauce, but it's optional. I kind of like my chicken and gravy to be white like this, so I don't believe I'm going to use the browning sauce. Plus, it changes the flavor a little bit, so I don't believe I'm going to do that. But so all I'm going to do is once it's brought to a boil, I'm going to stir it for 2 minutes while it's boiling, and we're all done. And you can see it's starting to bubble here. Isn't it pretty as heck? Wow, you can see all the pepper on the top. So that's it. I'm going to let it boil for 2 minutes. I still have some biscuits to make, which I want to get to because it's 7:30 almost now. It's 7:25. And I want to have some really nice hot biscuits and chicken and biscuits. And I'm going to put a timer on because it's boiling now. And I'm going to be done in 2 minutes with this. I'm just going to leave it on slow simmer because I don't want anything to happen to it. I might even turn it off because I don't want to change the consistency of it by cooking too much. I can always turn it back on when he gets here to warm it back up. And I'm just going to make some biscuits. You could do a couple of different biscuits you can do if you are one like me that love baking powder biscuits like my mom, but they're flatter and they're harder. That's fantastic. You can kind of cheat a little bit and do Bisquick biscuits, and that's fine. There are all kinds of biscuit recipes, but you're gonna, on this, you usually like the biscuits that stand up tall, not usually the baking powder biscuits that go smaller, because you really like to have that, you know, like when you're in the restaurant and you like to have the sausage gravy and biscuits, that kind of biscuits. So that's what I'm going to make next, is that kind of biscuits. So enjoy. I hope you like this. I'm not going into the biscuit part of this here in this video because everybody has their own kind of biscuits they do, but I can make you a recipe, a video later of like baking powder biscuits or something if you guys would like that for other things. But I am going to, whoops, it's almost done. I got 42 seconds left and this is ready. It's kind of exciting. So it's called Best Chicken and Biscuits, and it's really easy. And if you don't have celery, no big deal. You know, you can always keep substituting those around. It doesn't have to be, I've got the corn, and the things that they asked for was celery and corn, and the corn is frozen corn. The celery and the carrots, I cut them up really small so that they would boil as quickly as they said for the 7 to 10 minutes. But you can always go right in there and get a mixed bag of frozen vegetables, throw the whole thing in there, and that already has your vegetable mix. It just won't have the celery in it. So, or, you know, make it with any kind of frozen vegetables, any kind of mixed frozen vegetables. And if you don't have a mixed frozen vegetable package, grab a little, there's my timer, grab a little from each vegetable package and mix your own. So you wouldn't have to boil it so long. It wouldn't have to boil for 7 to 10 minutes if it's just frozen vegetables. So yeah, I mean, play with this. It looks fantastic. I'll give you another quick look at it. Woohoo, it's all done. The timer went off. And look at how beautiful that is. All right, now my mouth is watering. Yay! I'll talk to you later. Bye.